Well, here we are, the first Games Call episode of 2020, and I honestly can't believe we're in a new decade. So, let's kick off the Games Call 2020 with ease. So grab your family, spouse, roommate, etc., sit back, relax, and enjoy your low-calorie popcorn and assorted confections, and enjoy the video! There's a pretty big chance that when someone mentions the term movie, the first thing that's going to pop into your head is the juggernaut that is Disney. Among the quadrillion of other studios that they've acquired over the years, some of my favourite films were Disney and their other studio, Pixar. Bottom line, Disney and Pixar are like milk and cookies. They just go together so well. And as for video games, there are as many video games as there are films. A lot. So, here's a sample of some of the video games based on Disney films. Strap yourselves in because it's about to get wild. Now, let's start this Disney marathon with the SNES Classic, with Toy Story on the SNES, also released on the Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis and NTSC locations. The title screen looks nice. It's just a still image from the movie, but when you press the start button, Woody yells, "Yeehaw!" And we get a 16-bit rendition of Strange Things, and it sounds gorgeous. Just listen to it. Hot tamale, it's beautiful! Anyway, the story is just like the movie. The toys want to listen in into Andy's birthday party to see what he has in his presents. So, they use a toy walkie-talkie to do it. The first level is bright and colourful. Please ignore the glare on my TV. The controls are tight, well, somewhat tight. You have two buttons to jump, which is B and Y, and A and X use the pull string. However, you'll most likely use A and B. I say the controls are somewhat tight because, well, I find the jumps to be delayed. Also, in the first level, I managed to find a cheat code. You have to land on the bottom drawer on the dresser. After jumping on a ball, then you just hold down the duck button until the star in the top left corner of the screen starts to spin and you're untouchable. And trust me, you are going to need that cheat code. The next level has the toys in a rush to hide before Andy runs back to his room. This level is pretty intense. You not only have to put Ham, the robot, and Rex in the toy box, RC and Rocky under the bed, and then get Woody onto said bed, but you also have to worry about the time limit. You only have 2 minutes to do all of this, but you have characters like the robot and Rex who you have to time your jumps just right to get them into the toy box. Not to mention the waiting that's involved with this. The next level has Woody swinging on hooks to prove to the other toys that, hey, I may be 50 years old, but I can still be hip. You better recognize. Get it? Because, in the 90s, and you said, you better recognize in the 90s, that was slang. Shut up! The rest of the levels are pretty much the same, side-scrolling platforming. But you also get vehicle levels, like riding on Rex or that weird skateboard thing from Sid's house, and of course the RC car. These controls are utterly terrible. You bump into everything and your fuel runs out as you go. So you have to bump Buzz to get the battery. But how can you do that when you're constantly bumping into everything and turning is a nightmare? You have to do this not once, but twice. and oh boy, do I hate them so much. Each level consists of platforming, boss fights, and there's even a Doom clone and a precursor to Flappy Bird as the final level. The credits are also my favourite thing. There's no music, which is a shame, but I'm not complaining. Toy Story on SNES gets 7 out of 10. I feel if this game didn't include the RC levels or made them easier and balanced out the difficulty, it would have gotten a higher score. But this is still a fun game nonetheless. Moving up 3 generations of console with Toy Story 3 on the Xbox 360. I'll cover Toy Story 2 in the future. But anyway, let's do this. The game starts off with Woody chasing a train of orphans heading to their doom. But that is until the evil Dr. Porkchop appears to ruin the day. The first half of this level is Woody riding on Bullseye through the desert and chasing the train. And, well, that's it. We actually get the chase music from the film. Or it sounds like the chase music from the film. The next half is platforming, and this serves as the tutorial, where we can get a feel for the controls. We run across the train, saving orphans and killing aliens by throwing balls at them or, just footy kicking them out of existence, and blowing up the evil Dr. Porkchop. After all that, we get a cutscene explaining that this is make-believe and runs on a game board. They're all at Bonnie's house, and honestly, I'm just gonna put it out there, Murray Goldberg, probably not the best choice to play a unicorn. The levels offer something pretty special as well. They introduce new characters to help you get through the levels, problem solving, and many more. But these levels are basically just platforming, and they're also fun. For about 5 minutes, then they feel so repetitive and boring. I hate it when game developers make you slog through tedious gameplay to reach the parts that you actually enjoy. It really pisses me off. My favourite level in terms of gameplay has to be the final level, the Haunted Bakery, simply because it's all over the place. You fight mini versions of the witch, aka Dolly, with a cannon. You use a cow launcher to defeat a giant version of the witch, and you use a laser rifle to destroy possessed muffins. I kid you not, this is real. My favourite level in terms of graphics and gameplay has to be the Buzz Lightyear level, because you're flying around space firing lasers at Zurg's henchmen and meteors and stuff, and oh my god, the space in this world is so sexy! It's beautiful! But there's also a negative to the graphics. Some of them are so bright that you need sunnies to look at them. After you complete story mode, you have your Toy Box mode, which is pretty much your playground. In Toy Box mode, you take the role as a sheriff in your town. You help toys with tasks, buying toys to expand and populate your town, or you can just freely travel. You're pretty much in control of what you do. But I'm not gonna lie, this is actually better than the story mode, for 2 reasons. 1, it offers replayability, giving you something to do after the game, and 2, it gives you full creative control of the way you play. In this mode, you have that same nostalgic feeling of playing with your toys and letting your childhood imagination be the limit. But if your free play mode is better than your story mode, you messed up. But aside from all that, this game is pretty interesting. So, Toy Story 3 gets another 7 out of 10. Now, we move on to an entire film altogether with Meet the Robinsons. The story of a boy from the future and a boy from the past who's fed up with being adopted and all of his inventions blowing up in his face. Now, I'm only going to be reviewing the first half of the game, so this is kind of like a first impressions. But I promise I'm doing this for a really good reason. We're going to be here forever. That's the only reason. So, strap in as I give you my review, first impressions of Meet the Robinsons on the Xbox 360. The first level takes place in ancient Egypt, where Wilbur is grave robbing to take a selfie with a mummy. The first problem I have with this game is how dark it is. And don't blame my camera, this is exactly what I see when I play the game, and I don't have a capture card because they're too expensive. This is why we can't have nice things! Anyway, the pyramid starts to collapse around you, but we have to escape. There's no jump controls because Wilbur reacts to ledges and gaps automatically. Well, at least I don't have to complain about any jumping controls. There is another part to the level where you have to get to the top while outrunning a flood, which is pretty cool, but it's very dark, you can't see anything! After we escape the pyramid, Wilbur summons the time machine and goes back to the year 2037.
It's on the back of the movie case, look it up!
Carl and Wilbur are arguing like a married couple when Cornelius, Wilbur's father, calls Wilbur to tell him don't touch the time machine. But this is a 13-year-old boy, so of course he messes with the speech machine to get him to use the time machine.
Boys will be boys after all!
The rest of the game is exploring the Robinsons' house to find the code to the garage door. In order to find it, we need to build a scanner, and we need to collect parts from the storage room. The storage room is also dark! What, did the Robbins forget to pay their electricity bills? Ugh. The Robbins house is bright and vibrant, only to throw us into the darkness. Like, what the hell? Anyway, we run around destroying stuff with our dissembler till we finally get all the materials we need. The rest of the level is just running around doing errands for the characters. The characters in question are Grandpa Bud, Uncle Art, Aunt Billy, and Gaston.
No, not this Gaston. This Gaston.
The gameplay itself is actually not that bad. The bubble minigame is pretty enjoyable. You're just running along a path and running into stuff. Charge Ball is basically Pong, but to win, you have to destroy the other player's barriers to score. It's similar to Pong, and Gaston's meatball battle is pretty damn fun. Dodging meatballs has never been so cool, but it's too freaking easy and doesn't last long. The next section is like the movie. Wilbur takes out the garbage, but the idiot leaves the garage door open, leaving Bowler Hat Guy to steal the time machine. You had one job!
But this game is average. The levels are either too dark or too bright. There's no in between. Also, the gameplay can make the levels so boring and a struggle to play through. So, with that, Meet the Robinsons gets a 5 out of 10. The game is not bad. It's not even mediocre. It's just average. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first Games Court episode of 2020. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you have any ideas for future Games Court episodes, post it in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on channel post notifications to stay up to date. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!